What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Hey, Lions Talk Live. It is our morning show edition. You know what? It is nearly the 4th of July, and we've got a little something for you guys today. As we've been talking about throughout the offseason, we've got a number of different topics that are going to obviously affect this team, this franchise going into the upcoming season, which also, let's take a moment of time and understand it's only a couple weeks away from training camp kicking off. But one of those things, and perhaps one of the biggest things still remaining unknown, and nobody will know until we get through the season, is how will some of these injuries impact the team? What are some updates on some of these injuries? And we do have a little bit of an update. We'll go through all that this morning, and et cetera, et cetera. Before we get into that, before we get into the 5 headlines now, just a couple real quick things. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're about 40 subs or whatever it is away from hitting 13,900. So if you can assist with that, man, I would be thankful for that. Also, if you have a half second of time, reach on over, reach on down, wherever it may be on your respective screen. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons out there. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. Next, but definitely not least, I know a lot of you guys understand my wife is a fitness person, trainer, all these kind of things. And a number of you guys in the Do Crew have asked about peptides, also different things that she recommends, I guess, for health. Some of you guys, I won't name your names. If you want to put it in the Do Crew comment section, you can. But you definitely have seen what I've talked to you guys about with peptides. I noticed weight loss, injury, influx, as far as more energy and stuff. I noticed muscle mass and all my blood pressure, cholesterol numbers, everything went down with it. And these are natural peptides, not artificial made ones. But if you want more information, I guess I could just say, go to the website, Jen Savage Fitness, and check it out. One other thing before we get into the show, I want to give a bit of a thanks and a shout out. So most of you know I've been a realtor for 1 billion years. And today we'll be closing on a Do Crew member's house over, I'll just say in the greater Detroit area. I don't want to give out an exact place. And Sue was very thankful, I guess, for the months we've spent together trying to find a house, get her house all set. So she gave me this. And I get maybe on the screen, you guys can't all read it. But back in the 90s, this particular person, Sue, she went to, I guess, one of the training camps with Wayne Fonts, was, still the coach. And she got Barry Sanders and a bunch of the players at training camp to sign this. And she wanted me to take it. And Sue, I promised you yesterday when you did the final walk through the house, I'd give you a shout out for it. So I just want to say thanks from the bottom of my heart for the football. And so happy for you that, you'll be putting pen to paper today and have your house. All right. With all that done, said, out of the way, let's get the show rocking and a rolling and a going and kicking off with 5 headlines now. All right, 5 glorious headlines, and guess what? In about 3 weeks, these headlines are really going to kick up as training camp begins. You have all sorts of positional battles, people fighting for roster spots, people fighting to get snaps, people fighting just to improve and help the team get to where they want to go. And as I think we all know, that is the Super Bowl. All right, 3 goals Lions must accomplish at training camp. SI.com, story by Christian Boer. So we're going to get into this one, not spend all sorts of time on it, but first one on this list, I think most of us agree, is they got to solidify Frank Ragnow's replacement. This may not be priority number 1. It may be priority number 1. What we can say is who's going to step in for the man, the myth, the legend, Frank the Tank Ragnow is going to be something all media, all fans, all coaches across the landscape of the Detroit Lions are going to pay attention to. You guys all know it at this point. Probably if I had to put a guess who the betting favorite is, to me, it would be Graham Glasgow. Maybe not by a ton, but he's been a veteran. He plays well at center traditionally in the past. You do have a couple other guys, Christian Colleen, Kingsley Iguana. Let's see, obviously Ratledge could also be a potential person to fill in there. It's my anticipation only that Glasgow wins this spot just because of his length of time in the NFL. He's a veteran presence. He knows how to play the spot, and you can probably have somebody like Christian Mahogany play one guard, perhaps Ratledge play the other guard spot, make it a little bit easier on some of those younger players to step on in. But let's not escape the fact that everybody's going to be paying attention to who will fill in for Frank Ragnow. Next one, identifying the best backup quarterback option. And this is no small one by any stretch of the imagination. Yes, Goff is incredibly durable. He's been out there on the field doing it, slinging around, MVP front runner. We cover that a lot. We've also talked about in recent weeks that at OTAs, neither Hendon Hooker nor Kyle Adams really exploded. Neither one of them looked great. Now it's OTAs, so I'd want to overthink it too much. But when we get to the preseason, when we get to those 4 games, somebody really needs to stand out here and make the fans, the coaches, the team feel like if this dude gets on the field, we've got a chance to win. You guys all know it, so I'm not telling you anything you probably don't know. In high school, you can probably get away with a bad quarterback. There's just enough aspects of the game that you can, take care of it. College, especially if you're talking D2, D1, you don't have a quarterback, you don't have much of a chance. And obviously at the NFL level, the UFL level, if you can't sling the football, if you can't force the defenses to get away from the line of scrimmages, you don't have much of a chance at all. So hopefully Hooker steps up here. This, I think, is his big year and big opportunity to shine. We'll see if somebody else, though, needs to emerge. And then the last of these 3 priorities, rookie reps to get the most out of the 4 preseason games. Lions have a lot of guys, and we probably shouldn't say just rookies, but the younger guys that if they can get some reps, they can develop. I mean, you think about, Sion Vaki, you think about Kobe Sorsdale, Broderick Martin. Broderick Martin's going to be on this list. There's stuff a whole lot this preseason, but you guys get it. Whether it's those guys or if you got Isaac Tesla or Tyleek Williams or whoever, these guys need to learn the subtle advantages they can gain out of these 4 preseason games to go from a college player to a professional player. I would surmise that 99% of the rookies are going to be caught off guard by even the backups in the NFL because they're typically that good, let alone maybe some of the third stringers. But you get to that second string, those guys typically are pretty dang good NFL players, let alone the starters. Now, I get there will be some rookies that don't have a big problem with it, but they're probably also the 1 or 2% of NFL rookies. These will be massive, meaningful snaps for those younger players, and again, rookies, second-year players or whatever, to make some adjustments, earn some reps, get some experience, and potentially help this 53-man roster become incredibly deep. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. Veteran defensive back listed as Detroit Lions' biggest surprise. SI.com, story by John Macron. And I don't think he's wrong with this. We talk about the secondary for Detroit. We all know the stars. We all know the people. But could it be that this guy, Avonte Maddox, might be one of the biggest steals this offseason for any NFL team? You've heard all sorts of things during the offseason about how he's looked on the field, but we need to keep in mind that these are the Pajama Olympics. When you talk about OTAs, rookie OTAs, yada, yada, you can even say some aspects of training camp. But when the former Philadelphia Eagles cornerback Avonte Maddox signed with the Detroit Lions, many people didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to it. But you've also heard Kelvin Shepard, Dan Campbell, and a bajillion other people in the front offices or the coaching staff for the Lions talk about how well he's looked and how much they're starting to anticipate he could be on the field. Let that sink in, because we already know with both Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, Lions safeties are pretty dang good. Now you look at the cornerback room and go, man, is anybody really going to beat out, whether it's Rakestraw or Avonte Maddox, who's going to beat out Amik Robinson, DJ Reed, or, Terrion Arnold? I don't know if anybody will, but we probably can say this. With Rakestraw and then Avonte Maddox, one of these two guys is going to get on the field a whole lot, on especially second and long, third and long. They're going to pick up that iffy Malafano role, or if they decide to flex to some other type of system. He's been playing real well, and it sounds like the expectations for Maddox are going off the charts. If this holds water and we have Rakestraw continue to develop, just how deep is this Lions secondary, and how much pressure can they now afford to send after the opposing quarterback if you can really lock up with 5, 6, 7 quality defensive backs? I think it's going to be fun to watch this defense this year, because I think they're going to be able to go balls to the walls, so to speak, getting after the other team. And Maddox will be a big part of it. All right, Detroit Lions mailbag. What we know about Zadarius Smith's return right now, A to Z Sports, story by Mike Payton. And yes, I think everybody is chomping at the bit to find out and get some sort of finality to the Zadarius Smith, off season. We're all assuming he just wanted time off in June, April, etc. Didn't really need OTAs. And to be honest, if somebody who's been in the league 37,000 years like Zadarius Smith, does he really need to be at OTAs? Probably not. Probably more of a priority to keep that body fresh, recovering. As we all know, as we get older, sometimes it takes a little longer for that injury, that bruise or whatever to heal on up. He's had plenty of time. It does appear, if you talk to him or anybody else in between, that we're all expecting the same thing. He's going to sign with the Detroit Lions. We could be throwing a curveball and maybe he signs somewhere else. But he has mentioned he wants to be a Detroit Lion. Brad Holmes has said he wants to be a Detroit Lion, says he wants him to be a Detroit Lion. So we all get it. Going on Mike Payton does have a bit of a mailbag, talks a little bit about this, and just says from everybody he's hearing within the Lions organization, people off the record, by the way, says that they do expect that right around the start of training camp that, hey, Zadarius Smith is going to put pen to paper and be returned to the Detroit Lions. That's good news, and it would kind of fall in line with what we've been talking about in recent weeks, where you saw Zadarius on the red carpet and all that stuff. We all get it. His girlfriend lives here, loves Detroit, etc. But we do know this from Mike Payton and his reports, the people he's talked to, expect right around 2 to 3 weeks from now that Zadarius Smith is going to be signing, and there'll probably be a breaking news video from myself and 50 billion other YouTubers regarding that when it happens. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. Kobe Scoresdale, Lions offensive lineman in search of a role ahead of his 3rd season in Detroit. Story by Jeff Risdon, Lions Wire. We often talk about Broderick Martin for being somebody that we traded up for, did get, and then, just for whatever reason, in a few seasons here in Detroit, it hasn't clicked yet. I still think it will, or at least I'm hopeful. How about that? Kobe Scoresdale is also on that list of somebody you're hoping it will all click. Now, we saw him a little bit as a rookie. We didn't see him really at all last year's sophomore season, but per this report, Jeff Risdon, he does think that the Lions have something here with him. He's got the size. He's got the frame. He was a 5th-round pick in 2023. Came from I guess you could say a smaller school in William and Mary, but did take some time to kind of get used to going from that school to the NFL. We were just talking about that a couple minutes ago. He does have 33-inch arms, a big plus for an offensive lineman, and he is 6'6". So these are not small factors here. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. Anyways, just adjusting the speed has been a bit of an issue for him. And yes, they've tried him at guard. They've tried him at tackle. Apparently, they may have even tried him at center. Where he'll end up, I don't know. But if he can really at least somewhat play each of those 3 positions, Lions probably are going to keep him around. Because finding an offensive lineman that can play all 3 levels of the offensive line, that's pretty rare. He's still pretty young, still has an opportunity to grow. What are your expectations, Duke Crew, for Scoresdale? Do you think he makes it this year, or do you think this is probably the year we move on from him? I guess I could see either option happening, and there is a ton of depth on this offensive line. But it is, as Jeff Risdon reports in this, the fact that he can play 3 levels, man, you're only going to keep 8 or 9 offensive linemen total if you have one guy who maybe not be the greatest any of them, but can still be adequate at all 3. That's probably a huge advantage for that offensive line. Let me know your thoughts on him in the comments section, if you would, please. All right, last of the 5 headlines now. Didn't even really want to address this one, but and I guess it's all over media, and hey, it is the off season, so don't hate me for it. Sophie Turner gets called out by Lions fan favorite over her Detroit comments. Larry Brown Sports, Greg Poppy with this one. And Sophie Turner, for those who don't know, she's a player in the WNBA. I actually like her because she's kind of a Rick Mahorn. She's kind of an enforcer, and she's a guard. So she's not the biggest kid on the floor, but she's definitely somebody who's not afraid to throw elbows and get after people. When asked yesterday about expansion in the WNBA, mentioned a couple different places she thought players would want to play, get excited to play. Also mentioned that probably nobody is excited about potentially playing in Cleveland or Detroit. This set Dan Skipper off on social media and just said, hey, have you ever been there? And I'm paraphrasing here with this. I don't have a direct quote in front of me. But Dan Skipper did respond to her on Twitter or X, what do you want to call it, and said, hey, until you've been there and done that, you probably shouldn't comment on that. There are a bunch of people jumping on this story. Again, it's the offseason. Is it the biggest deal? I don't know. But now you know that Sophie Turner, if there is ever a Detroit franchise and she gets somehow placed in Detroit through an expansion draft, she may want to revisit these comments. All right, with all that done, set out of the way, let's get over to the main topic of the day. All right, Duke Crew, we've got more than a few injuries, as you're all definitely aware from last season, that impact the Detroit Lions. We're going to walk through these and give you guys a little bit of an update here on a few of them. Let's start off with the rookie from last year, Mekhi Wingo. Wingo didn't exactly, jump off the page with any of his work last year, but you could see clear improvement. There is a report out there right now that his recovery is a little bit slower, so you're probably looking at December or at the very least late November when he gets back in the field. My question and thought on this is, with it being an ACL injury and the position he plays, I'm not sure what the Lions do here, because that's going to be the vast majority of the season. Now, when he comes back, and he's not the only Lion recovering from an ACL tear, I think you're looking at him having to be nursemaid a little bit. Take your time with him. Don't overwork him to getting out there. What would you do, Crew? Because if it's me, if he's going to be that late in the season, I might just IR him this year and let him sit out there and have a full year to recover. Why is that? Because you look at the depth of this defensive line and the front seven of this Lions team, especially at the nose tackle position or defensive tackle position, is pretty dang deep. Would he make it deeper? Yes, but let's walk through all of these and see what you guys have to say. Because we're talking about defensive line, let's jump into the next guy, and he's probably the biggest name on this list. That's Aleem the Dream McNeil. McNeil, you have conflicting reports on, some saying that now he is ahead of the time frame originally thought with his recovery. Many people are saying, hey, Thanksgiving or right around Thanksgiving, he'd be back. But you do have some reports emerging that he's shown significant improvement in the last month to 2 months. So there are some hopeful thoughts that he could be back, before Halloween, or we'll just say mid-October. If that's the case, the Lions probably really do have a patron saint up above, because, and again, a guy his size, it's going to take a little bit longer, typically, not only for the recovery, but to get him comfortable, the knee right on the field. The Lions would have an absolute win here, in my opinion, if this newest report is correct, and that potentially he could be back by the middle of October. Because if he's back then, really he's missed, I'm trying to remember with our bye week, etc. I don't know, we'll just say 5 to 6 games. If he's only missed that, then he's going to play the majority of the season. And it probably does mean you can bring him back as a backup for a while, get him kind of slowly fixed into the line, rotate him around, don't overburden the body with a ton of snaps. Maybe try to keep him somewhere like 15 to 18 snaps the first few weeks, then slowly take it up to 20. I mean, you guys get it. Lions, thankfully, have a ton of depth, like we're just saying with Wingo, at the defensive tackle position, the DTI and DTS. So how big of a win for this team would it be for you guys, in your opinion, if this is correct and that Aleem the Dream McNeil only misses 5 to 6 games? If he does that, I think it's a massive win when you look at that rotation they have up there, which goes to some of these other guys we'll get to in a brief second here. All right, Dorsey, as you guys all know, he had a gruesome ankle injury, stepping on somebody else's foot and then turning the foot sideways and almost counterclockwise. I don't have an update on him, just that he's progressing. The newest notes I have on him is that he is expected to return this year, but a non-committal on time frame. The next guy here, while he may not be a starter, I do think it's a significant injury, and unfortunately, it's not good news on the latest update I have on him, and that's Rodrigo. Fan favorite, well, you guys all get it. Hard Knocks, darling, his rookie year. You could see Kelvin Shepard when he was the linebackers coach there, just saying, this rookie's beating out all you veterans, and I'm paraphrasing there, so don't hold me exactly to that. But you could see when he's been on the field, he's been productive. I love the way he flows sideline to sideline. But while he may not be as big as some of these defensive tackles, the recovery process apparently is not going as smoothly as many doctors would have thought. It sounds like Rodrigo is now trending towards mid-December. Mid-December to me means you've missed the vast majority of the season. Would it be better for the Lions? We get it. You guys get it. I get it. The Lions have signed a gajillion linebackers this offseason. They're clearly looking for somebody to click, win that spot. I'm not sure what I would do with Rodrigo here. I love the guy on the field. I love his flow. I love his tackling. He's good in pass coverage. I'm often surprised he wasn't deemed a starter for this team beyond his rookie year. It's something, no disrespect to Derek Barnes. I just think Derek Barnes, he's very good at one aspect of being a linebacker. He's not so great in coverage. Rodrigo, while not nearly as big, or in my opinion, as Derek Barnes, I think he gives you great run defense and pass coverage. It's just hard to find backers like that. Again, that's just my view. It doesn't have to be your view. But if he's going to be out to December, then you have to wonder about how quickly he can get back up to speed. And it's probably going to take a minute. I suspect the Lions are going to be put in a bad situation with Rodrigo here. And let's not forget, this is the final year of his rookie deal, unless I'm mistaken, but I don't have the notes in front of me. Rodrigo's probably got some real interest in returning just for that last aspect. It is the final year of his rookie contract. He needs to be out on the field because if the Detroit doesn't sign him, he needs to have film out there and prove he's A-OK for another team to come after him. Personally, by the way, I hope we do keep him. I just think he's valuable in special teams, coverage backer. I mean, just everything about him I like. He's somebody I would agree with investing in. What do you guys have to say about this, Duke Crew? There's probably a couple other people we could talk about, but these are probably, at least in my view, the big guns to name out there. Maddox not Maddox, but Dorsey, maybe not, because we are so deep at a cornerback. Maybe the Lions just move on him and injury settle him there. But when you have Wingo, when you have McNeil, let's also take a second stop and understand just how deep this defensive tackle position, the defensive line, is for the Lions. You got both of these guys, and they're not going to be on the field probably the first month, maybe month and a half of the season. You get that, I get that. But look at, you got Levi Onwuzurike, you got Tyleik Williams, who should be, I would suspect by training camp, have that hamstring fully right and good to go. You got DJ Reader, man, you got Pat O'Connor. I'm trying to remember some of the other guys. Roy Lopez, who he got out there from the Arizona Cardinals, and he's not bad from what I've seen. He's not bad at all. I think he's gonna be a real nice depth piece. How many of these guys do you really need? How many of them make the team? Well, some of them I have been postulating to you guys all off season. I think Levi might get moved to that big defensive end spot. He did play it some last year, but I think you could see him there 50% of the time just because the defensive tackle spot is loaded. Pat O'Connor is also somebody you could flex out there, and the Lions did some last year. They want to stop the run first. I get it. Both those guys fit that scenario. All right, Duke Crew, you've heard me ramble on. Let's get over to you guys in the comment section. Let me scroll to the top of the screen. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, go ahead and throw it in the comment section, and let's get this going. Michael D, greetings and salutations, Coach and Duke Crew, exclamation points, one pride, woo, and back at you, Pierce. I wonder who to blame for dealing with the last year's injuries this year. Laughing out loud, all that stuff, DDIS, question marks. Now, just so we're on the same page, I didn't put Davenport on this list because all the reports I have on him say the same thing. He's fully recovered now. Derek Barnes, I didn't put on the list for the same reason. He's fully recovered. He was basically fully recovered about a couple weeks after the Lions season ended. And again, same with Hutchinson. I didn't put him on the list because I think you guys get it. If he's not 100% by now, he's pretty dang close. So I kind of stuck with the guys on the list that we haven't gotten recent updates on. Pierce, Rodrigo, and Aleem are missing at least half the season. That's what it sounds like, although it is sounding more and more like there's some potential. You could have, Aleem back a little bit sooner, like I was saying with October. If he's back then, in my view only, I think that is just a massive good luck, Irish, what do you want to say, clover, whatever, fine for the team. Because if he only misses 5 to 6 games, that's one heck of a recovery. And again, for a guy that size. Did Wingo tear his ACL on Thanksgiving? Off the top of my noggin, I don't remember exactly when the injury was, but I guess that sounds fairly correct, but don't hold me to that, Pierce. Uncle Buzz, if we trade Davenport for Watt, who will Pierce pick on with his stale jokes next? I'm sure we can get Pierce to find somebody. No doubt about that. Until then, I hope they are not reporting that Aleem won't be back until at least Thanksgiving, because I've been expecting that for months. No, the newest update I have on him is that, somewhere right around Halloween could be the return, which is it a huge difference from Halloween to Thanksgiving? No, but let's be fair. It is about 3 or 4 games difference. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. If our team can stay healthy and get back some of our injured stars, I think this year could be the year. I agree with you. And it's nothing against anybody else in the NFC. But, hey, somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to lose. I mean, that's sports. That's life in general. I do feel like the Lions, they've got a good division to win. And, yes, there's some very talented teams out there, very good coaches. But when you look at the top of the NFC, Trey, I do think if it was me, I would say the Lions in the top 4. And you could Scooby-Doo it, split hairs, who's number 1 through 4. Then I'm not going to worry about. But I think the Lions have a real good opportunity to be amongst the top 4, and then in the playoffs, win it all and get to the Super Bowl. Till then, I know that it's just a joke that has gotten beat to death. Yeah, it has. But I haven't seen a player who is on a team-friendly deal get so much hate as Davenport. If he does well, it helps Lions. It does 100%. And to your point, I mean, Davenport knew what he was doing signing that deal. It is not a player-friendly deal. It is a team-friendly deal. To me, it speaks to the guy. Could somebody have given him at a different team probably a slightly better deal? Yeah, I'd say we could all argue that. There's enough teams that need edge rushers that he probably could have got a better deal. Significantly or not, I don't know. But somewhere else. I think you look at Davenport's contract and he said, nah, I want to prove myself here. I want to be a Lion. I want to be with this staff, for this team. So I give him a lot of credit for it, because let's face it, this is his profession. This is how he puts food on the table for himself, his kids, his family, etc. If he doesn't produce, they don't eat. So I'm rooting for him. Jess, greetings, salutations. I think Wingo will be the biggest injury impact just because he was a rookie and lost all those reps. Yeah, 100%. You don't get back time, and you guys know that in life. Wingo, it's not going to be a one-all, be-all end of the day for him, but I do think, to your point, he lost a lot of good reps as a rookie, and you know what? He's going to have to try to now claw his way back up and learn stuff, get experience, get reps. Johnny L., good morning, folks. Same to you. Jess, I wanted to say thank you, Coach, for doing the show daily. Hey, no worries, man. I enjoy it. I hope some people get I know some people get all worked up about speculation videos, but dang peeps, what else we talking about this spring and summer? Question mark. Thank you. Hey, no worries. And I get it, man. Some of the videos don't work for everybody, but I do my best to make it entertaining for everyone, give you something to watch on a daily basis. And I get some people get worked up about it, but again, with it being the off season, there's not like a game to review every day or player updates every day. So you do the best you can. How about that? All right, Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. I just want to healthy season. Want a healthy season? Woo! Yeah, let's not have last season again. Johnny L, let's go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Big Eddie, Aleem, Rod, Amik, Wingo. Anyone else I'm missing on the injury recovery list still? Maybe Alex? Yeah, Alex Anzalone should be okay. Amik Robinson should be okay by now. I think they both are fully healthy by now. It's also why I left them off the list. Pierce, Big Eddie, Dorsey for depth. Yeah, Dorsey had, man, that thing, and just shows you how, fate, unlucky, you can be at times. Running one way, just happen to step on a teammate's foot. Yeah, bad injury. Johnny, Thunder and Lightning, go, ho, all the above. Big Eddie, you're right. Forgot about him and that nasty injury. You're correct with that. Correct. All right, Pierce, I think Dorsey had the same injury that Hutch, and it happened in the playoffs. Yes, it did. There we go. 70, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Just Lamar can't make everyone happy, and I would agree. It has to be hard to come up with new content every day during the slow time of the year. Also, thanks, Coach, for eggs. Hey, no worries. I hope you're ready, and your countdown's on. You're about the same time train camp kicks off, so get ready for it. Hopefully, you are working on it, and I know you are. Stephanie, and thanks, Jen, for she got to work on some pool time during that time, so it probably worked out. Johnny L, Sonic, and Knuckles, I'll go with that. Silver, good morning, Coach, and everyone. Same to you, my friend. Pierce, Big Eddie. Also, don't think Monty. Yeah, but boy, I forgot about Monty. Tore his MCL, so something else to watch. I'm also anticipating he's fully healthy by now. France, question for the Duke Crew. How much will any of the injured athletes help this season? I think they all will in their own regard. Now, some of them, just because they're going to be back later in the year, probably less impactful than others. Johnny L., I believe that we're going to get stronger than ever. I do too, because the injuries last year did allow the Lions, let's be fair, to find some guys that would not have been here otherwise. I talk a lot about Pat O'Connor, Alaquin Muhammad, just those two guys on the defensive line. They would not have been here. Same with Adams if it wasn't for those injuries. And in my opinion, doesn't have to be your opinion, that's made us significantly deeper in the front seven. Maybe there's some other people I haven't thought of, but those ones definitely jump out. Big Eddie, yep, you're right on that. Pierce Sargent, I forgot because he played versus Washington. Yeah, I think you're talking about Monty for sure. Trey, Stephanie, good luck in your fight. What did Coach do to help you with MMA fighting? Yeah, nothing with that. My stuff with her was just working on speed training, reactionary times, and thought process under stress, duress, and when you're fatigued. I'm big on that in any sport, because if you can think when you're tired and beat down, you do have an advantage. All right, Pierce, Big Eddie, only because they said it couldn't get worse. All right, I'll go with that. Brett, good morning. Dan and Cruz, same to you. Drake, France McNeil has to be the most impactful returning player. I would assume he commands respect. He does, man, and it probably doesn't get considered enough for how good he is. I get he may not be in the top, say, 5 or 8 for defensive tackles in the league, but he is a pretty dang good one. He's good against the run and the pass. It's hard to find guys that fit that mantra. Jim, the team is much better on paper. However, we need individuals to step up their game before and during the season to make us great. Can't rest on last year. No, you can't. Last year's in the past. Now you got to focus on the future. Good call on that one, Jim. Right, Liam and Rodrigo both out until November. I think for the most part, that is what some are reporting. But again, it does sound like Liam is really kind of getting ahead of the curve a little bit. So maybe it's Halloween for him or right around there. All right, 7-8 Trey, anyone who's played for coach in any sport knows he focuses on a lot of speed, agility, and reaction times. So most drills around those aspects. Yeah. And I think you are ready too. You got a couple more weeks to go. So, but hey, we're all going to be watching. Silver. Lions doing all they can as they should. Free agents, draft medical personnel for the injured. Aleem is a huge loss. Wingo was really helping the team. Rodrigo, big loss. Amik, only broken arm by Jack. Yeah, and friendly fire happens all the time, and especially in football, especially on the defensive side of things. We'll have to see how quickly they all get back. But if they all get back and they get back up to speed, man, this team is going to be deep. 5 fingers, Freddie. I worry Rodrigo won't be back or himself for a long while this season. Could be his final year in Detroit. It could be, for sure. No doubt about that, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm positive, Pete, as most of you guys know, I think he's going to be back and he's going to help on out. So, they really need Tyreek Williams 100% healthy. Hamstrings are no joke. No, it takes a while to recover. Most of you guys know I blew one of mine out like a year ago. It did take a little while to get it back to right. I mean, not to where I was walking, but sprinting and stuff, yeah, that took a little time. Robert, Hall of Fame of Destiny, Jason Berry might be on the list for sure. Susan, yes, you are right about that. Silver. And they might re-sign Rodrigo at a reasonable price. I hope they do, man. I like the guy. I think he's a prototypical Detroit Lion. Jordan Reaver, good morning, coach and the world famous Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Woo! And back at you. Jessica, have a blessed day, Duke Crew. It's almost football time. It is, man. We are weeks away. Johnny L, this is great. I love it here. We love having you here. So hopefully you love being here. Phil, good morning. Back at you, Phil. How's the guitar coming along? Mike the Marine Gunny. Howdy, Dan, the Duke Crew family. Woo! And back at you, Gunny. So small. Think about our rotation with, Lee McNeil, Williams, Adams, DJ. That's nasty. And don't forget, throw Levi, Onzarike, and there's probably a couple other guys on that list. The Lions' defensive tackles, they're probably, I'm going to say, 5 to 6 deep. I mean, legitimate bodies. And that's a massive amount for an NFL team. Silver France, we shall see how much the injuries will help. Not even Lions have idea where they'll be 100%, and you cannot play around with those knee ligaments. Now, ligaments, especially for massively sized guys like Lee McNeil or Wingo, it normally takes a little longer for them to heal up. But to your point, hopefully they do heal up and get right. All right, Tori, don't sleep on O'Connor and Levi so small long. Yeah, both those guys, man, O'Connor really became a bit of a, I guess you could say, a fan favorite last year. Let's be honest. There were times he really flashed. And again, if the injuries don't happen, he's not here in Detroit. He gave the kid an opportunity. He proved himself. Is he ever going to be all-world gold jacket or whatever? Probably not. but just having something like that in your rotation, how much better does it make us? And again, don't forget about Alaquin Muhammad. I really liked what he did last year. Levi, we all know the story, man. Medical miracle, just that he's in the NFL game on an NFL team. And what he did last year, I mean, especially that last 2 months, I thought he was dang impressive. I was glad he resigned. Silver Server, Susan Scotts. Hey, how you doing? France, true, exclamation point, Silver Server. Gary, morning, Duke Crew, and back at you, Pat. Hey, crew, anyone heading over to the Hall of Fame game? I think there are a few going over there. I want to say Detroit D and some other people said they were going over there, but I'll let them speak on that in the comment section. Try to remember, Malik Beasley is possibly done in Detroit and the NBA as a whole. Thanks, Davenport. You could blame him for that. So I don't catch the whole story, but I'll have to look at that today. Johnny L, Coach Dan, and the Duke Crew are the absolute best. No, you guys are the best. Without a shadow of a question of a doubt. Kurt, I may be going Pat, not sure as of yet. All right. Well, hey, let us know if you're going, and maybe we can get a Duke Crew meetup at the Hall of Fame game. Ron Lavers, good morning, Dan and the Duke Crew starters. Exclamation point from vacation in Arkansas. Hey, go have fun there at Jonesboro. So, yes, go have fun there and enjoy your vacation, my friend. Mary Smith, go ahead. Good morning, Duke Crew and Lions fans. Good morning, Mary. There's always something about Mary. Johnny L, dominate is your only option. Dominate the other team. I like the way you're thinking. Silver Server, Tori Ebel. I don't think we're sleeping on Levi. I think about him as one of the best we got beginning of the season. Now, as far as O'Connor, you might be right. Exclamation point. I'll forget about him. He was solid. He was, man. And again, you're looking, at least in my opinion, you're looking for guys in that rotation that at least do one thing, shut down the run or get after the quarterback. O'Connor, I would say he wasn't great at either one, but he does give you a little bit of both. Getting after the quarterback, some agility, some speed, and he shut down the run. So the fact that you got him, and basically for nothing, I think that's a massive win for the team. Silver Star, I feel Brian Branch is coming this season. He will take more share. Yeah, more charge, excuse me. And I agree. I think he's going to get into his third year. He's going to become a little bit more of a leader in the locker room, on the field. You could see some good stuff emerging out of him last year. I mean, he was one of the better safeties in the league. And now in third year, starting to hit the prime of his career a little bit, where he'll have about a 3 to 5 year window where he's just, a physical nightmare for other teams. I think he's going to really show up this year. Vincent, good morning, Coach Dan of the Duke Crew. Woo! Back at you. Jennifer, good morning, all listening in at the VA. Hey, have a good morning, and hopefully having a great morning. Steve, what do you got? Jared Goff announcement means major change for Detroit. All right, I'll have to check out what that announcement is. I can't wait to see. And good morning, Steve. Big D, morning crew. Back at you. Coach Rock, good morning, Duke Crew. There be 08, the Rebel 08 checking in. Exclamation point. Greetings, salutations, Coach Dan of the Duke Crew. And same to you, my friend. James, creatine, zero carb protein powder. All right, I'll go with that. Carrie, Stephanie Water, keep training hard, stay focused on your opponent, and kick some major butt. Yeah, so I got to watch her spar a couple times, and let me tell you, for a right-handed person, that left is pretty nasty. So I won't be surprised if you see a couple land. And not just that, but most right-handed people are very right-handed dominant. That's not so much the case here. So I won't say it's a switch hit or anything like that. You'd be able to swing from both sides of the plate, but that left, you saw once or twice where it connected and just came out of nowhere. Silver. Now that's good football. Exclamation point. Got Barry Sanders vibes. Yeah, electric. And again, just want to say thank you for it. Hey, one heck of a gift. You've got everybody, and I don't know the exact year, but I can tell you she told me Wayne Fonts was still the coach. Obviously, Barry was still on the team. So somewhere probably in the mid-90s, you can, kind of see all the signatures for everybody on the team. So again, congrats on the house today. Can't wait for you to sign and have your own place. And thanks for the gift. That's super awesome of you. Thank you very much. I'll put it in the Duke Crew walls in the office. The walls of office. I don't know. Coach Rock, we'll be meeting with Lomas Brown soon and hopefully get some news. Woo! Hey, have fun with Lomas. Real good dude. He's a good person to talk to for sure. Remember, that's a cool gift, Coach. It was, man. And again, 1,000 thanks for that. Madeleine Hassanin, good morning, my friend, Coach Dan and the Duke. Everything I do for an hour to watch your broadcast and listen to your opinion and vision. Thank you for your hard work. Hey, no worries. I enjoy it, and thanks for being here. All I can do is do the best I can, and hopefully that works for at least one or two people. And one of those two people might not be my mom. She's a pretty tough critic. All right, the Trim Reaper, good morning, Mr. Hassanin, 100%. Silver Server, I don't know who is going to play center. Glasgow makes sense, but listening to Dan Campbell, question mark, I don't know. Ratledge could be their plan and get it from the go. I won't be surprised if the Rat Pack does take over from day one. From a coaching perspective, if it's me, I guess it would make a lot of sense because you know what? If you're going to do it, just do it now. Let them learn on the fly. Let the 5 people on that line gel as much as they can this season. And I know we've talked about a lot. Me being positive, Pete, or whatever you want to say, I look at the retirement of Frank and the moving on of Zettler as we're going to get a lot more athletic on that offensive line. You can't replicate their experience without giving new people those reps and the experience. But the Lions' offensive line, by mid-season, late season, it could be one of the more nasty units in the NFL. Dre Day. I was watching the Lions playing the Rams week 1 last year, and wow, I got that vision of Davenport all season. We have no worries on defense. Yeah, to your point, that game, and I want to say maybe the first half against the Cardinals or something like that, I thought he played very well, but as we all know, injuries happen. Big D, Mr. Hassanin, have a blessed day, 1,000%. Miles Marker, greetings, salutations, coach and crew, grit, exclamation point, Rocky, and at Rocky and Mr. Hassanin. Brent DeWitt, good morning, Mr. Hassanin Manley. I live everything I do to watch you. Hey, well, welcome to the Do Crew, and thank you for being here as always, my friend. Miles Marker, hi, I'm Brent, Silver. Lee. All right, we'll go with that. Jim, a few years ago, the Chiefs started a first-year player at center, and it made to the Super Bowl. They did, man. Great point on that. Good call on that. And they've had, to be fair to the Chiefs, they've had a lot of flux. The wide receiver room, I think we all understand, and their offensive line, and they keep rolling. Brett, good morning, Miles Marker. Tom, we still need to get Smith back. Woo! I'm down with that. Let's get him back. Coach Rock, I think of Aaron Rodgers sitting behind Brett Favre for years, wondering if they could call for his head after he was a backup for 3 years before he got his chance. So thinking Hooker should be fine. Yeah, some guys, and I think some of us in the crew probably are old enough to remember, the 60s, 70s, 80s, even 90s, where more often than not, quarterbacks when you're drafted, you did sit for 3 or 4 years before you ever got on the field. They wanted you to groom, take everything in, learn some stuff. So it could be that's just simply what they're doing with Hooker. All right, Silver, Zadarius Smith still moves very well and can still accelerate with those legs. Come on back, Zaboom. I hope he is back. Cynthia, good morning to all of you. Exclamation point. Love the good, positive vibes. Go Lions. Yeah, I'm not much of a Debbie Downer here, so I try to find the positive in everything. Michael, 193 watching, only 38 likes. Come on, Do Crew, hit that like button. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you would be so kind, I would be thankful. Silver, Rocky, yes, but I wouldn't want an Aaron Rodgers, even young in Detroit. I have to like you, give you something emotionally. Give me Brett Favre. Believe me, my fellow Lions, I could never dislike him. Yeah, Favre, obviously, he probably changed Wayne Fonts, the Detroit Lions. Everybody on this football's career with one pass down the right sideline of the field to Sterling Sharp. Otherwise, I do think that 93 team, I think it would have made the Super Bowl. But Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers changed those fortunes long ago. There be 08. Come on, Duke Crew, smash all the buttons. Yes, if you would be so kind. And thank you for that. Miles Mark, good for Skipper. Skipper, yeah, standing up for Detroit. Uncle Buzz, how does Cunningham turn into Turner? We'll find out, my friend. Southwest, this girl is absolutely delusional. The Shock got 3 championships, big sellouts before Caitlin Clark come on to save their league. Yeah, I won't make this a WNBA thing, but probably Sophie Cunningham doesn't know much about the history of the Shock or the WNBA in Detroit. Bo, Coach has a Santa got thing, maybe. We'll go with that. Game of Thrones, is that what GOT means? We'll find out. Coach Tiny K, hey, Coach and Duke Crew, exclamation point, should we be worried all the injuries? At this point, I'm going to say no. Obviously, we want all the injured players back, Coach, as fast as we can, but I think we have enough depth where we'll be able to maintain the line until they do come back and then, get back in the swing of things. Free for all. Sophie is one of the few WN players that absolutely resembles AW. I'm down with that. There be a real Detroit versus everybody still, and probably always going to be that way. Coach Rock, if that is bad for Wingo, sit him for a year and he'll come back with a monster next year. I do wonder if his injury is really that delayed, if it would be in his best interest, and then obviously the team to sit him for a while and just let him fully recover. Dre Day, Sophie, who WNB that? Yeah, not relevant. Might be accurate. Silver, Coach, generally speaking, we have already looked at the calendar. quickly evaluating possible wins and losses. The fact is, when season starts, you got lots of surprises. It always a new reality. Yeah, 100%. Me as a coach, I learned 30-some years ago, just became my mantra. When I look at the schedule, reporters ask me, the team asks me, you're 0 and whatever until you win a game. The only way to get rid of those W's when they hand out that schedule is to get wins. And you are not given wins, you earn wins. Tom, you're right. Wingo should sit out a year in IR. Great call, Dan. Yeah, if it's really that delayed where he's not going to be back until December, I think it'd be better for him as an athlete and the team to just try to say, hey, let's get you fully right. Let's, respect the human being here. And then, we've got enough depth here where I think somebody else could step on in. T-Bone Lokes, I wouldn't want to lock Wingo out for the whole season because he may be desperately needed in December. Yeah, maybe you don't for the whole season, but the longer we go, if his recovery is slow, you might have to look at that. Steve, Jared Goff, and Sheila Hemp are part owners of the new WNBA team in Detroit. Yeah, I did see they were going after that. I just, I haven't paid attention to it recently. Dre Day, Malcolm will be missed, but as long as Alex plays like last season, the linebacker core will be fine. Yeah, now who's going to back him up? That's my question. James, good morning, Dan. I'll say keep Rodrigo. He produces when he's on the field. Injuries are a product of playing football. He is, man, and I love the fact that he's good against anything. Not great, in my opinion, against the run or the pass, but he gives you real flexibility, and the kid's got a motor, too. That's the other thing I like. All right, Southwest Coach, you are right. Hot Rod is better than Barnes, and for Brad to pay Barnes more money, of course, Alex is upset about money. He's 100%, 100 times better than Barnes, who got paid for missing the season. Yeah, I was often surprised, Southwest, to your point, and it's nothing against Derek Barnes. Man, somebody's going to offer you that contract. You got to take care of you and your family first and foremost. I understand why he signed it. But maybe there's something I'm missing or not considering, and the dogs apparently agree with me as they're barking. But just watching them both, I really liked the versatility Rodrigo gave you. Barnes, I think he can get after the quarterback. I think he can shut down the run, but I just don't see anything in coverage. Now, maybe they're just saying, well, we're only going to use him on first and second down. So I don't know, man. I guess I'd love to hear what they have to say about it. James, I even say keep Josh Pascal since this is his contract year. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to move on from him. I know there's some reports saying maybe they will, but to your point, you're going to pay him something anyways. Why not keep him and just see what he can do? He's a good human being, great leader. I hope he works out. Miles Margaret, I know, right, Steve? Good for crazy legs. Should be interested in seeing what happens. 100% there. Let's see what he can do with it. Ernie, greetings, Coach Dan, and thank you for all you do. Exclamation point. I am visiting Detroit at the moment. It's great to listen to you and comment live. Home is San Diego. Ooh, for me these days. Go Lions. Love Detroit. And we love having you here, man. Welcome back and enjoy your time back here in the Motor City. All right, Rock, good morning, Miles Mark. Rit says it all. I'll go with that. Cynthia, Ahmed Hassanin, exclamation point. Woo! Yeah, and I do think we're going to see his name a little bit this year. Hopefully a lot of it this year. Okay, morning all, and nobody wants to leave the Lions because they all know we are so close to that Super Bowl ring. Oh, yeah, I'm down with that. There be 08. I hope everyone stays healthy. I think this defense can be special. It can be. I think we all agree. Last year, before 1,000 injuries, we were looking pretty dang good. And then, obviously, you lost a whole lot of parts due to injury. All right, Silver Server, I'll keep all those on IR because even in December, especially in December, they could be vital with others who might have gotten injured during the season. Yeah, you never know, 100%. Phil, do we have enough starters to cover our injuries? I think so, but we'll see. Every time somebody goes down, it's an opportunity for somebody else to rise. Think about, think about Kurt Warner's story. Trent Green was, going to take the Rams to the Super Bowl, goes out in a preseason game with a torn ACL. Kurt Warner, who most of us never had heard of, came in and had one of the most monster quarterback seasons in NFL history. And you could go through 1,000 different people over the history of the NFL that have covered that story. So if somebody does go down for the Detroit Lions, I always try to say, man, who's the next superstar none of us have heard of who's about ready to step in and make a big impact on the game? All right, Hookadoo, Miles Marker, morning, Miles Marker, Brett Pierce, Mr. Hassani, the team of grit. We got a lot of grit here. Southwest Brad is the reason we have this problem with Alex and money overpaying people who don't want to pay people that's worth the money. McNeil overpaid 3.6, got $100 million. Hutch gets billions. Hutch might get paid. He's probably going to. Here's my question. Is Hutch the first $40 million a year defensive end? I think it's looking that way. Southwest, Coach McNeil, not even top 10. Why Brad pay him like that? He's good, but come on, man. So set our team up and pay Hutch $1 billion. If McNeil gets $100 million, ain't no way I pay him $100 million. Yeah, I was a little surprised when I saw those contract numbers, but I don't coach him. I just watch with my eyes. So Dan Campbell clearly, put the thumbs up on it. Brad Holmes put the thumbs up on it. So I guess for now, the only thing I can say is I'm going to trust in that and go with it. Hookado, Stephanie, what TV network will your fight be on? Yeah, I know somebody else asked this the other day, and I'll have to ask her and find out, because I know the pre-fights, which she's on, are different than the pay-per-view portion. Most MMA fights, at least that I'm aware of, like a certain amount of fights go to one network, pre lineup or whatever. Then a number of them go to another lineup, and then the last whatever it is, 4 or 5 or 6 go to pay-per-view. JC Gillett, greetings and salutations, coach and crew. Back at you, Phil. Your spirit at your age. Hey, I try to keep my age moving forward. I don't know how to word that. Kerry, Phil, we're the deepest team in the NFL. I think we are the deepest team in the NFL. If not, man, we're in the top 3 for sure. Hey, what's this? Thank you for this, fun boy Roddy. Well, thank you for this. What do you got here? What do you think about the Vikings' new D-line and O-line? I think the Vikings are very talented this year. And I know probably a lot of Lions fans don't want to hear that. But other than the quarterback position, I don't see a whole lot of holes in them. Now, I say that and they're going to go 0-18 or whatever. But I do think the Vikings are a legitimate threat if the quarterback position really pans out for them. But by the way, since you sent that over, I got to give you one of these. How about a 1 and a 2 and a 3? And from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. Silver Server. Madali Hassanin, yes, please, sir, could you tell your son to wear white shoes? I can't bear to watch those black shoes on the Lions colors. Black shoes are good for soccer, football. I like white shoes. Yeah, the only problem is I think he would get fined from the NFL, and I don't remember what the fine is. I want to say it's like $4,000 or $5,000 a game if he doesn't wear the NFL colors out there. So I don't know if, especially as a 6th-round pick, if he wants to pay those kind of fines. Silver Sir, Fun by Rod, that's a good question. I haven't got a clue about many. Yeah, I think they're pretty dang talented this year. But again, the quarterback doesn't hit, it ain't gonna matter. Brent, how do you Hookado? Grit wins. I'll go with the Grit. Hookado. Silver Sir, yes, he's trying to make a fashion statement. Might be true. Hiya, brother Grit. Hookado. Fun boy Rod, what do you think about the Bears' new O-line? I think it's got some potential. It'd definitely be better than last year, but it is going to take typically a couple games for them all to get on the same page, know each other's stuff. I think Ben Johnson is going to be forced, in my opinion, to play a whole lot of guys during the preseason just to kind of speed up that learning curve. If he doesn't do it, then the Lions defensive line, which is mostly a veteran group, I think they could have some real success in week 2 against the Bears. So personally, I hope that they don't play him in the preseason. Phil, guitar close to being done. It's a pretty instrument. It looks pretty nice. And hey, I see the updated thumbnail. You do great work, my friend. For those who don't know, Phil is truly blessed with working with guitars. Gary, fun boy Rod, get a rookie quarterback. There you go. They got a rookie quarterback. And if he doesn't work, they're not going to work. If he does work, they're going to be scary good for a while. JMO Lions King, don't sleep on Lopez. He's a sneaky good sign. The rotation with McNeil is starting to round out. It is, man. And I do like Roy Lopez. I think he's going to be a nice addition. I think they got just so much depth at the defensive tackle spot. Probably can afford to sit Wingo or McNeil a little bit, make sure they're right as rain. Their B08 should be real good rotationally. I would think so. Big Daz, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke crew. Oh, yeah. Exclamation points. I'm down with that. Ziggy and friends, good morning. Captain Dan and the new crew. The new Duke crew. How about that? Miles Barker, that'll be fun, Rocky. I think it would be fun. Brent, like Bo says, rotation is the key. Keep the big dogs fresh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can see where that really helps out in the playoffs and later in the season, etc. Miles Barker, hi, Ziggy and friends. How you been? How you doing? We'll find out. Phil, why don't we see any Raw Sports guys as Dion and Bo Jackson anymore? That I don't know. That's a good question. Cross guys. There we go. Cross sports guys. I don't know. For those who don't know, those two guys, Bo and Dion, used to play Major League Baseball and the NFL basically at the same time. I feel I can't answer that why no one's doing that currently. At least no one that I can think of. PLC El Curvo. Good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke crew. Lions will win the Super Bowl this year. Go Lions. Woo! I like the way you're thinking. Fun boy, St. Brown better than any A.J. Brown. I don't care what anybody says. I'll go with that. I second that. Grinder, Lions has to pay Barnes if they want to keep him. Jets head coach would love to have him. And it could be that. Maybe they had to make a decision. Do we want him here or somewhere else? Fun boy, St. Brown is better than A.J. Brown. Don't care. I'm down with that. I'm down with that. Phil, Favre was the Bruce Willis of the NFL. Always pulling an escape, didn't he? Pat, I was at that game in 93, man. I was covering that game, and oh, man, talk about, you could just hear as soon as Sterling caught that ball, everything in the Silverdome just went flat. The fans, the coaches, I remember that dazed, punched in the face look that, a couple of the coaches, I won't name names, had on that sideline. They knew they just got, hit with a haymaker, and it was unfortunate because before that, the Lions, I want to say it was actually like the drive before that, they were going down the field, and I thought they were going to put the game away. Unfortunately, they botched it, and then Brett Favre had an opportunity to win it, and he did. All right, both Stephanie Turner played Santa in GOT. Yeah. Game of Thrones. Coach, you keep calling Sophie Cunningham Sophie Turner. Yeah, it happens, man. It happens, man. Gary, we got DeMarco Jones, and nobody has seen that yet. He's going to beat some players up. Yeah, I'm down with that, and he is a pretty good tackle. Kerry, thank you both. Brent, let's hope Jones doesn't beat up our own players. That is a good point there. Let's hope he only fires at the other team. Thomas, we cannot expect the D-line to get back 100% to the D top 10 with all the injured players. Let's hope they can rise to the opportunity. Phil, Braylon Edwards tells us games are easy, practices are hard, and in practice, the ends and defensive backs eat on almost every play. I'm down with that. Bet on almost every play. Okay, I'm down with that. Phil, congrats. Med's upcoming wedding. Yeah, that's right. Coming up here, I want to say pretty quick here, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, congrats on the wedding. Hopefully it is a blessed day for the entire family, both families. Thomas, overpaying Barnes is causing problems that were not necessary. It happens. That's part of paying people. Kerry, Brent, when everybody finds out what is here, they're going to, we'll do that 100%. Phil, can Jen work with Goff to get him more quickness? Ooh, I'll have to ask her if she'll reach out to him. Maybe we'll see if we make that happen. Brent, I just hope Ahmed Hassanin can sack like an Egyptian. I don't know. I see what you did there, laughing out loud. There be 08. Rodrigo is still a fan favorite in my eyes. I think he is in a lot of people's eyes for sure. Thomas, remember, injured players need time back to be effective. 4, 5, 6 games minimum, they don't come back superstars. No, they will take a little time. Phil, Steph, a boxer or a grappler, but she does hit. And again, it's not really my sport, but just watching it, you could see a couple of those lefts get home scrimmaging or sparring, and they cause some havoc. Hassanin Madley, Mr. Silver Server, I will Ahmed Hassanin to change his shoes black shoes. Yeah, you might want to have him checked with the coaching staff, the front office. I'm pretty sure that is a violation, so he's gonna incur some big fines if he does that. Maybe the Duke crew will help him pay for it, though. I don't know. JC, I think Myles Garrett signed for $40 million. Okay, there we go. Brent Thomas, that's my biggest question with Hutch. How many games till he's back to normal? Not too many, I hope. Laughing out loud. Yeah, the advantage he has is he'll be able to go through all the training camp and stuff. I mean, it doesn't mean he'll be 100%, but I think he'll be pretty dang close. Phil, no white shoes, Silver. All right. Look at Ahmed Hassanin equals Horus, the god of power. Woo! I'm down with that. Silver, coach, you can wear white shoes, no fine. You're going to worry mildly about that. All right, maybe I'm wrong with that. I thought for sure there was a fine, but maybe I'm wrong. Thomas, Brent, 100%. We have zero idea until they play 5+ games. Okay. Thomas, I believe Hassanin is going to be a big factor than we will think if he stays healthy. Yeah, I think the kid's got some real potential there. How many reps he gets during the first, the preseason games, I think that's going to speed him up and a lot of the rookies. Miles Marker, or Lions, one pride, I'm down with that. All right, guys, if there is breaking news later today, I'll get it over to you as soon as possible. If you would be so kind before checking out, hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button, hit all the buttons, hit the subscribe button, hit the button for the button of the button. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do something kind for someone you don't know. And we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.
Excuse me, sir, would you... Donations to the Reverend Moon? Juice for Jesus?
Read about Jehovah's Witness? How about Buddhism?
Jerry's kids? Oh, yeah. Scientology?
Or nuclear power?